All right, so in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly step by step what I've been doing in the past week to actually choose my business. If you've been following in the videos, I've been using the example that I just generated randomly on episode 1 of trying to figure out how to become a real estate agent on the island I live in. After about 7 or 8 days of playing around simultaneously of starting this channel, I realized that the business I wanted to start was in the software as a service space. And I basically went through the exact process that I did with ChatGPT on the video. And after identifying a few important things, I realized that the software was very much needed. I actually confirmed that after having a conversation with a friend of mine who is an attorney, that this was a big pain point, and I realized that it fit all the general criteria. I'm looking at my whiteboard right now. The result was going to be painful to lose. So the first thing that was important to me was having a software that if it was taken away from attorneys or whoever it was that my client was going to be, that they were going to be upset. They were going to be like, fuck, my life just got harder. Almost like if you took ChatGPT away from me or Google away from the average person, it would make life really tough. Imagine not being able to use Gmail or, the iPhone per se, right? The App Store. It's really painful to lose. So I wanted that to absolutely be part of the process. Number two, it had to be fast results for the customer. It had to be very easy. And I realized that nothing is very valuable unless it saves somebody an immense amount of headache, immense amount of time. And so I thought, okay, it's gotta be this. It's gotta be something that solves a big fucking problem that they're addicted to. And number three, it had to be painless to build, meaning that they saw so much value that it's like paying 20 bucks a month for ChatGPT. I literally can say that I get thousands of dollars a month in value out of it, at a minimum, $5,000 to $10,000 in value from all the time it saves me, the queries, the headaches, all that stuff for 20 bucks a month. It would be extremely painful for me to lose. And so I have no problem throwing money at OpenAI for them to keep doing what they're doing so I can keep using ChatGPT. So it had to fit these three criteria: fast, easy results, had to be painful for the customer to lose, and it had to be very painless for the customer to throw money at me. Okay, almost like a no-brainer. So what I chose was a legal SaaS. It's a software as a startup, software as a service. And I decided to start up with about a budget after doing some research on ChatGPT of what it would cost, right? Architecturally, I went through it. I said, okay, how much will a developer cost to do this? How much will a developer cost to do that? And once I budgeted it out, it came out to maybe $8,000. And I thought with a little bit of marketing, a little bit of corporate formal structuring, maybe 10, 15 grand max, right? So I thought, okay, I'm comfortable with this number as an experiment. I'll spend 60 days building it. Let's get it. So I went on Upwork. I found the developer. He's in Norway. He basically said he could put it together in about 2 or 3 weeks. And so far, it's been about a week of working with him. He's put together a very good basic framework of functionality. Now we have to pretty it up and make it look nice. But the basic business, right, is that attorneys have a lot of headache getting paperwork, right? So attorneys hate paperwork, right? Like it's something that they don't tell you in law school. A lot of my friends have told me over the years after they've been attorneys that they didn't realize how much paperwork was going to be involved, right? They thought that a lot of it was going to be in front of court, in front of the jury, in front of judges. And the reality is that most people, especially in defense, are swamped with paperwork, right? It's paperwork about prior court cases. It's paperwork about motions, how to get in front of the judge to state things, right? It's just a lot of paperwork. And so if you can relieve any part of that for an attorney, through automation or technology, they will love you and they'll be addicted to you. And so I realized, okay, this is the saving grace for an attorney. An attorney is usually a wealthy client. They make $300, $500, $800, maybe even $1,000 or more an hour. They've got the money, right? Even somebody just out of school is billing $250 an hour in most cases in the US. So it allows for disposable income for things that help their tasks become easier. So my business plan was simple. I need 200 attorneys in a certain geographical area that I'm starting in Florida. And these people need to be addicted to saving time with my product, okay? So what I decided to do was simple. Take a bunch of PDFs that they absolutely must access all the time. And instead of ordering them from the court or government agencies, I'm gonna go ahead and front run them and order a whole ton of them. And then I'm gonna upload them into a database that they can query. So instead of saying, oh, I need this court order, I need this prior case, I need this, I need that, every single time the legal assistant has to either call or email or beg and deal with red tape to get it, that costs time and money. That costs a lot of time, not only to put the order out to request the records, but also to interface with law, governmental agencies that have legal paperwork, right? And so I thought, okay, I'll just order them all. It'll take me some time. And then as I'm building the app, I'm basically accruing all these documents. I'm going to upload them to a database, and then I'll have my app be able to search so that they can basically put in a natural query, a natural search, and get the answer that they want within seconds rather than having their legal assistant go through and contact appropriate agency, order it, wait 3, 4, 5 days, pay a little fee to get 15 papers copied and sent over via PDF. All that stuff's a nightmare. And I thought, okay, there's definitely enough attorneys that will need this. and they're willing to pay a monthly subscription. So that is the business plan. Basically, front run, get all these massive amounts of documents in a certain geographical area in Florida, and then just upload it to a database and have attorneys being able to search it. Now, the software needs to be really good. It needs to be able to search the PDFs really well. It needs to be fast. It needs to be updated. And so there's a lot of back-end work. I need to constantly be updating the software so that the newest cases and the newest documents are available. But if I do that, it's easy to get 100 attorneys, right? It's super easy. It's super easy to get 200 attorneys. Why? Because I don't have to sell them. Hey, if I can save you 4 or 5 hours a month at a minimum, and you're billing $500 or $300, that's $1,500 to $2,500. If I charge them $200, they wouldn't even have a blink of an eye of paying that, right? If I could save you $2,500 in time and effort of your billable time, and I'm charging you $200 or $150 or $100 or $50, you're going to pay it happily, right? So that's the business formula that I wanted to put together. That's the business plan. And this is all constructed with AI asking questions like, hey, what are the pain points for attorneys? What would make their life easier? What are the amount of hours that I could save them? What are the price points that I could charge them and be very, very excited for them to be paying me, right? Like I want an attorney to be smiling at the end of the month, throwing me money, going, thank God this service exists, right? That's the plan. And that was the business plan that I came up with, all with AI. So now that we've kind of gone over that, I want to talk about the 3 things that are very important into having a business for it to last, right? It's got to be fucking painful to lose, right? The attorney has to be hooked, like literally like, I need this, right? Like I am with Gmail, I am with Google, I am with ChatGPT. Maybe you have your favorite apps. I feel that way about these apps. It's painful to lose. That's number 1. Number 2, it's got to give them fast results. Within a click, they got to get the answer within a second or 2. Why? Because that loop, right? That loop of like, I want an answer. I used to have to go to a PDF, but then I don't have the PDFs. I've got to answer. I've got to order that. And then I've got to have my legal assistant interface with some government agency. It's really difficult to work with. It's not open a lot of hours during the week. And then they're going to basically get this email when they can. And then they're going to maybe ask me for money and I got to pay it. And then we're going to wait another 2-3 days for it to get mailed out. I'm removing that from all of their lives, right? So I'm giving them fast results. I'm taking what used to take a week to get. I'm giving it to them in 2 seconds. Max. The query might take max 2 seconds. That's fast results. And lastly, painless payment. When they pay me, I don't want them to think and be like, oh, I don't know, should I cut this out of my budget this month? It was a very low month for me here at the firm. I didn't get many clients. Maybe I should cut this out because it's not that important. No, I need them to think of this as like the water, right? The water they have in the water cooler that's in the office. Everybody needs to drink water. Everybody needs to have coffee. Everybody needs to have a copy machine in the legal department, right? You just got to make up. I want it to be in that stack, like things that you never cut if you're in business. That was the goal of this software. It was like one of the last things that they would be able to cut, right? It's like the power bill. Like, if you're in a law firm and you see no power, you got a problem. So it's just in that bucket of critical things to run the firm. That was why I chose this business, okay? I'm asking you to ask AI for that type of trilogy, right? Painful to lose, fast results, and painless payment. That way they when it's time to pay, they are happy to send it to you. Like they are hoping you stay in business. That's what it is, okay? Now that we've gotten to that, I want to give you a tour of how I'm going to make 50K, right? Because that's the goal with this is how to make 50K a month. So the formula is real simple. I'm going to charge about $200 a month. I might go lower at the beginning, but the goal is to be about $200 a month. My goal is to save them about 5 to 10 hours a month, right? So if I do the billable hours at say $300 and I'm saving them 5 hours, it's $1,500 saved. If they are using it and getting a lot of value out of it and they save 10 hours a month, right? Almost a full workday with my software because they're just searching really quickly. They're going to save about $3,000 a month on average if an attorney's just charging $300 an hour. The basic attorney, not the guy in the high rise that's like really well paid, part of a big firm. We're talking about just the average guy that's on the street, Johnson & Johnson, LLP. I'm going to bill them $200. They're not going to think about that, right? If I have to get there in a few steps as the software gets better, I'm okay with that. But that's the end goal, right? $200 a month. I need maybe 250 attorneys, right? At $200 a month. 250 attorneys is very doable. That's how it's going to make $50 a month. Now, the best part about software as a service is if you don't put a lot of money into marketing, which I'm not intending to, I only intend on putting in just enough marketing to get the thing going, right? Your margins are in the upper 90%, right? Like I calculated that the infrastructure on this might cost me $300 to $500 a month, and the rest is basically operational, right? Like, do we need to make an update? Okay, great. There might be a little bit of a tech cost for the dev to do some kind of update, but other than that, it's just updating the documents, which is ordering them from the courts and the government agencies, and then just uploading them and making sure that this database is updated. That's an admin job that I can get for about $10 to $12 offshore, right? That's the reality to it. They can order the documents, upload it into a simple bulk uploader tool that I have in the software, and then it's just, the system stays updated, right? That's how we're going to get to 50 grand a month is $200 a month times 250 attorneys. I might get there in about 3 months. So my goal is literally the target is within 90 days of launching, get 5 to 10 beta tester attorneys to really run through it and then just say, hey, if you invite a friend, here's the deal I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you an incredible lifetime deal. I'm going to give you, for $1,500 a month, lifetime deal, invite one person, the software's yours for life. That's it. And when I get to about 50 attorneys, maybe 15 or 20 of them took me up on that and they invited a colleague in or one of the other co-counsels in their law firm, I'll get enough critical motion, right, where the business makes 5 to 10 grand like this. And I know that because when I test the software, if I can get those legal searches done within 1 or 2 seconds, the rest is easy, right? I don't have to sell that to an attorney. I just have to show it to him. I just have to send it to him by email and say, hey, try this out. Give you a 14-day free trial, get you hooked on it, and there's no way out. You're going to have to pay. That's the type of sticky sauce that you want to get into in a business, and that's how it's going to make $50K a month. Again, I'm going to track it with charts and everything, but I'm doing this video just to explain what it is that I'm doing. It's kind of freestyle, but I figured I would do it because everybody wants to know, okay, how are they going to make money, right? And I'm sharing this off. So if you really want to get rid of the job you want, this is the way to do it. Do it with AI. I'm going to show you right now the tour of our startup office, which is this the living room that I'm in. And it's going to show exactly how we break down daily operations. I'm going to talk to you about the software, front end, back end. So if you're interested in finding out the nitty gritty, the details of how we're doing this startup and how I just started 10 days ago and how it's on pace to making $50K a month, probably by the beginning of January, maybe mid-January, watch the rest of this video. Settings for monetization. Is it a 30-day free trial? Is it a 14-day free trial? What are the pros and cons, that type of stuff. So I'm using AI extensively, but I want to give you an idea of the idea that I came up with, how I iterated it with AI, and then what the final product is that we're actually building with a dev right now. So our dev is in Norway. What we're starting with is a very simple description of the tech stack or the software. There's a user side that's highlighted in blue. Okay, there's a front end, which is a page. This software is for attorneys. So I've got a friend of mine who's an attorney, and she mentioned a pain point. This is why the idea started. And the pain point was that they have to deal with a lot of manual PDF review. So they have to get PDFs for court cases, and these PDFs are very difficult to order, right, to get them into the office. And then when they finally get them, they have to literally like Control F or search the PDF for a certain word, whether it's like arrest or DUI or whatever it is. And so they manually have to spend a lot of time going through it rather than just Google searching or looking through a very quick, extensive list of the relevant things inside the PDF. So I said, hey, I can build that software. I don't exactly know all the details, but I could go through and kind of like get myself to the point where the software makes sense. This is a conversation that took place maybe 2 months ago. And so I want to talk about what that software is. That software has a front end where you type in what you're looking for. Hey, I need what the arrest procedure is for this police department or this state authority or state agency. You type that in. This front end request goes to a data center where we have all of our information that we're sourcing. In this data center, our software is going to search all of the documents and give them something back. So it's going to say, hey, you search for this. Here's the best thing that we've come up with. We made your life super simple in 1.2 seconds, right? We have a bunch of stuff here in the software that makes that search happen, right? So you have to have some libraries, they're called, to search this information to send it back to them. So in essence, they want to find a specific question that's found in a 2,000-page PDF, right? You can either spend time looking through the PDF or you can use a computer to look through it. We're doing this and we're providing it to them in about 1 second. Okay, so that's the front end, the blue side. The back end is where we do all of our stuff. We upload documents from courts. We upload documents from a lot of places and we stuff them in. It's called ingestion into this server. We keep loading into the database. And the more the database gets better, the more we can charge attorneys for the information they're looking for. So if we just have 1 court, you can charge a little bit of money. If you have 10 courts, you can charge a lot of money. If you have 55 courts, you can charge accordingly. So the more stuff we put into this database, the more they can search, the higher the value goes up, the more we can charge. Hopefully that makes sense. So over here, we've got operations, which is how to actually tag the document, all that stuff. This is our business side, right? So this is the front side for the attorneys. This is the back side for us to be able to upload all these documents into the server and the database. And we host this digitally on DigitalOcean. We might even have a backup on AWS, Amazon Web Services. And we're probably gonna start about $300 to $500 a month in server costs, right? $300 to $500 a month is our startup. We now need to charge attorneys a certain amount, whether it's $50 a month, $100 a month, $200 a month. We're figuring that out right now. But we obviously have to make it monetizable and profitable, right? So this is the business right now that we're starting. The name that we've come up with is FlawFinder.ai, right? But a really big one. So we started with this. Why? Because we're in the minimal viable product stage, right? The software is in version 1. It's super simple. It's basically meant to give an attorney a query box or a search box. They type in a query. We tell them, hey, these are the PDFs we've uploaded. You can get this information really quick. We make their life easier. Maybe they'll pay us $30 a month to start. As we upload more and more and more stuff, this brand gets more valuable. Maybe at 1,000 users, we'll rebrand in a year or two and call it something really sexy and cool. Right now, this name was $70 a year. I think it was $70 a year, yeah. It works. That's what it is. Minimum viable product. Our branding is super simple. It just works, right? An attorney's not gonna turn down the product if it has a simple logo and a simple name. What they will turn it down for is if the software does not work or it doesn't have the information they're looking for. Those are the two things. It's gotta have the information they're looking for and it's gotta work. So we have gotta be able to search these documents and bring them the right answer. That's what they pay us for, right? To save them time. So now that we've got this, let's break down our workstation, our lab. So we have this broken down into 2 stations. My station is the technical station and the business station. So you can come back here. It's also the studio where we shoot the videos of how to lose your job with AI. So I've got all my lights and everything. I've got the content with the cameras and everything. And I use ChatGPT, so you can actually show it here. This is an actual working ChatGPT conversation of everything that we're going through with technical iterations. And you can see it's very, very extensive. I want to show you one little snippet of code, right? So basically we've got a widget inside the program and I'm asking ChatGPT right now, like, hey, how do I make this widget work? Like I've got this thing that I want to build inside the front page. It's a little widget, right? And it's telling me like, hey, this is the code. I'm reviewing it. I'm making changes to it. It's writing the code. I don't know how to write this code, okay? I'm taking this code, I'm sending it to my developer and I'm saying, try this code out. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, try and iterate it on your ChatGPT or your Grok 4. And so 90 to 95% of the time that we would be spending trying to figure out code is done. ChatGPT does it. In fact, it even gives you a preview of it, which is crazy because ChatGPT 5 is so good that not only will it write the code, it'll give you a button that you can preview it. In fact, I would show that to you now, but I don't want to show the actual sauce of the software for obvious reasons, right? So this is where I do my technical work. I'm constantly chatting with ChatGPT. I'm using it on voice mode most of the time. I have it on a projects file. So it's specific, I have my ChatGPT for like my weight loss, my gym, all these cool little chats, but this is a business one. So I opened up a new project right here on the left and I keep everything in there. All the files are on Google Drive, so it's free. And I think this business right now in admin costs is at like $50 a month. 20 bucks for ChatGPT, 10 for email, like the domain name, email, FlawFinder, support at FlawFinder.ai. I think a Canvas subscription for 10 or 12 bucks, and I might have $10 a month in DigitalOcean, which is like Amazon Web Services, right? So it's very cheap and lean. This is where I work, and then I obviously film the content for the YouTube channel here, and I've got my lights and everything. So now this is where I'm gonna talk to you guys about building AI. I wanted to show you the business that I'm building, and now let's take a look at where the PDFs and all the good stuff tends to be ingested into the system, which is this, where my co-founder sits. She's filming right now. Mm-hmm. So this is the simplicity of it, right? Our computer here is ChatGPT again, right? We're using it. We're uploading a bunch of PDFs from the courts and from all these different departments across the state. We're starting in the state of Florida because it's just easier. I'm more familiar with it. So is my friend who's in the legal business, who kind of inspired this startup. And so we're taking PDFs and we're uploading them. And now what we have to do, like the challenge, the business challenge, is how do we tag and categorize each PDF so that the AI will search it much easier, right? So like imagine I gave it 10,000 pages and I said, AI, search 10,000 pages. Obviously this is gonna take long, right? It might take 30 seconds. And in AI speak, that uses tokens. So that might take 30,000 tokens. So the goal is, in order to incur less of a bill, right? So we don't want our AI bill to go crazy because OpenAI will send us a big ass bill. We're a startup, we have to keep it lean. We have to chunk the 10,000 pages of PDF into like 30 to 40 pages. Now, how do we do that? Well, there might be some stuff that is like court procedures. So we tag that court procedures. There might be things that are formalities. We tag that formalities. There might be stuff that's like arrest procedures. We tag that arrest procedures. And so if you start breaking things down, every time someone chat GPTs in natural language, send me the results for formal procedures, it will categorize the word formal procedures on the folders that contain that stuff. It's pretty simple, right? So the ChatGPT will prompt to only search those 2 or 3 folders. Now we go from needing to search 10,000 pages to maybe needing to search 120 pages. That lowers the token usage by a massive amount, which keeps our bill relatively cheap. We're aiming to have token usage under $1 per search. Right now, we're getting close to that. That's the big aha that we need to solve. So a lot of people say, well, of course AI can search a bunch of documents. Yeah, we know that. The goal is to make it so cheap because of our ability to organize the folders that we're uploading, that we bring the cost down so low that we can build a business out of it for attorneys to use it in the Florida region, right? That's the goal. Now, how do we figure this all out? We talked a lot to ChatGPT. And now we're uploading all this content into ChatGPT to format it so that we get the folder structures to look correctly. That's where the business is made, right? That's where we can take searches from $1 down to much lower costs and now make it a viable business where attorneys pay us to use this service. Their life becomes much easier and we make money because we are making the process of dealing with huge 10,000 pages of PDFs super simple and available in 1 or 2 seconds. That's the business we're in. We're building it out. We're 10 days in and we might have a working prototype in the next 4 or 5 days. Again, this is the station that we're using to source all these documents from state agencies. We're just gonna bulk upload them into the software. And then we have to figure out how much we can charge. Is it 50 bucks a month, 100 bucks a month, 200 bucks a month? We're gonna be somewhere in there. It's gotta be affordable, but at the same time enough to be profitable. And so that's where we're at. We incorporated in the United States and it didn't cost much to incorporate, like maybe a few $100. And so this is very possible even if you're on a very, very tight budget. We're not on a tight budget, but I'm running this as a very lean startup because I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm rolling the dice based on my logic and the business planning and my friend who's in the legal field who says this is a big pain point. And we're gonna launch this and see what the adoption is like. Is there a big need for it? But again, I don't know. This isn't a for sure thing, so I'm not willing to put in more risk capital than maybe 10 to 12,000 bucks. That's just where I'm at. I'm willing to put in maybe 30 to 45 days to try it. And if I get great feedback from my friend who's an attorney and her friends who also work in the legal field, I'll launch a version 2 and I'll put more risk capital in. But if she says, hey, this is terrible, like, this will never work, then I know, okay, I took a shot and it didn't work. This is part of the iteration process with ChatGPT. I've had this conversation numerous times. I've asked it different types of questions. What's the best risk-adjusted play? How can I put just enough capital to make this kind of work without going all in? And I decided that it was worth putting in, at this moment, I think we're in for about $5,500, $6,000 total. And probably in the next 2 or 3 months, when it's all said and done, it'll be in at around 10 or 12. So that's kind of the story of this startup. We're basically taking FlawFinder.ai and we're building it up. Currently it's November 5th of 2025. We should be done with the build out in 2 to 3 weeks, maybe by like end of November. At that point, it'll be ready to beta test, right? Pound it with a bunch of searches and see how it works in real life in the field. And if it works well, we'll finalize the packaging, the branding, the front page, bolt on Stripe so people can pay us. And we should have something ready to go like the first week of December, which is great because attorneys will go on holiday end of December, usually for year end. And so we want them to play with it for 2 or 3 weeks. And maybe by the end of the year, give us an annual subscription because they can expense it into 2025's budget, right? That's the best case scenario, is that they've got extra money and they're like, I need to expense stuff so I can bring my tax bill down. December's a fabulous month to launch a startup, especially if you can get them to pay you for the full year of 2026. That's what I'm hoping for. And so this is just a quick update on what I'm working on as I'm building out this channel, Lose Your Job with AI. I think it's super fascinating that you could use $20 a month software, ChatGPT or Grok, and literally build your business 85% of it, right? Like, I am blown away by the speed and the accuracy of ChatGPT, so much so that each station is using it and the results are phenomenal. So that's what we got going on. I'll give you guys a quick update here pretty soon, but it's a pretty simple thing. This would easily fit on somebody's kitchen table. It's working in my living room right now. Hopefully this inspires you to take a look at what you got going on in life. Fire up a computer, open up ChatGPT, and start your way to losing your job with AI. We'll see you on the next one.